Okay, hi everyone. So I'm going to go into VR and do a tarot reading for some very nice people in alt space. And I'm just going to do a quick tarot reading in there because I have the cards on the screen. So hang on 1 second and I'll go right in there. Okay, hang on 1 second. Maybe. Okay, I think I'm in. I think I'm in VR. Let me see. Mic's working. Okay. So, yeah, here we are. Um, okay, so someone looks dead here. What's going on? Oh,
At the
she
bathroom.
went to the bathroom. Okay. So, um,
She vanished for a few.
okay, so well, I better wait till she comes back, otherwise none of this is going to make any sense. But I think she'll probably just be a minute. I'm
She
glad
shouldn't be too long.
I'm glad there was like somebody here as soon as I walked in. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's good. You
Yeah.
were up, you were showing on the popular rooms.
I was?
Yeah, that's how we found it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why it would
Yeah,
be there. Maybe you know what it is? Maybe people come and visit it and I don't even know.
it's
You know what I mean?
probably
Like
why.
I haven't been in,
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe they just like the bird sounds or something.
I don't know, but it was showing.
Huh.
We remembered it.
Well, what I'm going to do, see, these cards only show up when I do the present. Oh, she's back. She woke up.
There she go.
I,
Okay.
I had to go tinkle tinkle before I sprinkled on the couch.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. So that wasn't too bad. Now, okay, I'm going to do this reading since you had the courage to walk in here and spend your time here. Basically what I was doing was I wrote this thing for a website that pulls three cards out of the tarot deck at random every time I press the middle card. So you can basically do a random drawing of cards to do a tarot reading. So you can do like the idea is thinking about the next few days coming up in the week. Okay. So you look at the cards and you say the left one is something that we sort of want to consider but let go a little bit. Like, don't worry so much about that because we kind of have that taken care of. The middle card is something we really want to like grab onto like right away and sort of get done. And the
Hmm.
card on the right is the what we want to try and shoot for, what we want to try and get to. And so it's a three card
Hmm.
reading. It's a three card reading isn't a huge deal. It's pretty simple. So basically, you look, that card on the left is what's called a major arcana card. That's one of the like 22 super important main cards of the tarot, right? There's like some more important cards in the deck that are sort of more keyed in to like your big sort of motives and your drives and personality quirks, all that stuff. So that card on the left, something we kind of have taken care of. We don't have to worry so much about. We can stop like obsessing about it. That's the Chariot. And that's the
Okay.
card. Yeah, the Chariot is kind of about getting out there, just sort of jumping into the fray and getting crap done. You can take care of this. You
Hmm.
have all the like you have the courage, you have the drive, you have the motivation, and you're really in charge of what you're doing, and you're like willing to put it on the line and take risks and essentially, ride out
That
into
sounds like my
battle. You know what I mean?
that sounds like my new job.
Well, there you go. Because that's kind of what jobs are, right?
Right.
That's
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's kind of what jobs are. You got to take care of crap. You've got to basically steer the cart, you got to steer the cart in the right direction, make sure things get done, and you have to be sort of calmly in charge. You know what I mean? You want to be
Right.
getting stuff done and being highly active, but you don't want to be like freaked out about it and overexcitable. And you can tell the Chariot sort of represents this calm, assertive
Hmm.
energy. Well, so that's basically saying, okay, you can rely on that. That is there. That's something you've got in your back pocket. Now, from there, let's go and see what we need to get hold of quickly this week. Well, that is the Justice card, another major card from the tarot deck. And the Justice, she's all about, like, I mean, quite literally, balance, equanimity, equal, treating everything, people equally, being even handed. So you've got this calm, active authority on the left, getting your job done. And then in the middle, it's saying, okay, you know what? Think like a calm, level headed boss. That's what you want to get at. Be a calm, level headed, fair boss that that basically people want to get things done for. So that's what that middle card is saying. So now you've got those two elements going. They're both in your both back pockets. Then on the right side,
Right.
you've got this emotional card, and the emotional suit of cups. They represent the the love. Like it can be it's often obviously in relationships, but it's also just loving what you do, loving the your what your main drive. If we're talking about work, it's what you love about your job, it's how you feel about your job.
Hmm.
Right.
And that five, what it's saying in the realm of your feelings, the five is the number of a slight destabilization. Like you're used to something a little bit more certain and secure, and it's been a little conservative and kind of like, I don't know, maybe a little stayed the same way for a while. The five is the introduction of a new element, an idea, a new person or employee or a coworker or,
That makes so yeah,
you
but that
know,
makes so much sense to me because I was used to like I was a waitress before COVID, and then I
yeah,
was so used to doing nothing for a while and then cleaning
yeah,
houses, and now just started a new job, and
yeah. There
and
you go.
I'm like responsible for doing a lot of stuff,
Well,
and I don't feel overwhelmed. I'm just like I'm happy to do it, but
yeah,
it's like it makes me feel good that I'm like new job,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well,
So
this
that makes sense in my life.
Well, and the five is there, and the five also, you got to remember this. It's a number card, and the number cards aren't as significant as those two cards on the left. The number cards are sort of temporary feelings. They come, they go, they're there on Monday, they're gone by Wednesday, that kind of thing. So what
Hmm.
that card on the right is saying, there is this new sort of feeling. It can be a little unsettling. You can be a little awkward and uncomfortable, but it's leading to the next stage. It's this sort of active discomfort that is expected and normal when you're doing something new, when you're putting new plans into effect. So in your scenario, it could be applied to your new job. And there's always difficulty. Every time I've ever started a new job, I've always been like, what the F is going on? Oh my God, I don't even know where to park. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, and so you
Yeah,
have these
right.
Right.
weird but but those two cards on the left, they're saying, hey, fall back on your natural sense and ability of taking the task on, the challenge. You take the challenge on,
Right.
you get it done. And the middle card, you're very level headed. So it's saying, don't worry about this five over here. This is totally like bogus and temporary. This five, man, you can handle this in your sleep. That's what this reading is saying.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm,
So there you go.
Interesting. Can you relate that to your life,
Yeah,
Juliet?
kind of. I sort of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think most people can.
Absolutely.
That's the thing about
Yeah.
when you read cards in tarot, they have meaning that can be applied in many different
To any
people
part of your life.
to any part of your
Yeah,
life.
pretty much.
And there could be like the two of you are standing here and each one of you could look at those cards and what I just said and apply it in a different way to a different situation,
Mm-hmm.
and they would be
Yeah,
equally
definitely.
helpful because it's really, they're only helpful, they're not magic. They're helpful because you make them helpful for yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, definitely.
so I mean
Right.
I love the idea of like a magic tarot deck and being, but to be honest, they're pictures with numbers, and you apply the ideas they contain the way you want to apply them.
Right.
So in your
Right.
case, like,
Exactly.
I would hope that your new job is like you think like tomorrow or the next day, if something a little stressful happens, you go, "Oh, I remember that guy in that goofy tarot. He told me that, what I mean." And it just might like
Yeah.
give you that little moment where you're just like, "Okay, no problem. I've got this." Maybe that goofball was
Yeah.
right.
Right. Right. Maybe that goofball. I don't think you're a goofball, by the way.
You know,
But
it's like,
I think you're pretty awesome.
oh,
Do
thank you.
you do you read tarot cards like for people in real life?
Oh yeah, I love doing it. Look,
Yeah.
I'll sit down with friends, I'll sit down with people online. I don't
Where are you located? Where do you live?
in LA, in Los Angeles. I don't take
Oh,
money. I
Oh,
don't take money from people to do because it's something I love to do. And
right.
well, me and
yeah.
Juliet are gonna take the next flight out there. We're gonna come and you're gonna do our tarot cards in real life.
Hey,
Definitely.
that's the really tarot cards in real life it's the best way because you can have like a really cool old deck of cards and everybody like wants to see all the other cards because they're really just interesting looking, you know what I mean? They just have a
Right.
lot of you
Yeah.
so you sit down, you might be in a bar or something, you have a beer, you're sitting there, you're messing with the cards, you're doing readings and it's just fun, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
They are fun.
yeah.
So
This,
where in LA do you live?
on the west side, I won't, I mean, I can't like tell everybody exactly where I live. They'll come and they'll
Well,
be like
I want your address.
they'll
I
be
want your
like
pin. I want your
they'll be
pin
like
number.
they'll be like, give me a reading now.
Yeah, they would.
So,
Have you ever been to like Sir or Pump?
to where? Oh, you talking about the restaurants?
Yeah,
I've never been to
like Vanderpump.
Oh no, that place. I know that place. Where did I was like no, I was in, doesn't she have one in Vegas also?
She
Yes,
might.
I was in a casino.
she does. Yeah.
Yeah, I know she
Yep.
does because I was in a casino and there was like there were like vines. There were all these
Mm-hmm.
vines on
Yeah.
trellises and stuff. And I was like, isn't that the lady from that Housewives show, and somebody
Well, yeah,
said,
she was from Housewives, and then she did. I watched her show Vanderpump Rules, and now she left. Or I don't know. A lot of them got fired from that because of
oh,
all this bullshit we're going through. And
yeah,
then she's doing Vanderpump over, what is it called? I don't know. She's having dinner. I think it was on tonight, actually.
oh. Well, I didn't really know what this thing was, and then someone I was with said, "Are you like, where have you been? She's on the Housewives show, and she has these restaurants." I was like, "That's weird." I mean, I've seen like 2
She,
episodes of that show.
yeah,
You know?
she's a big entrepreneur. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they have a lot of restaurants now, and she
yeah.
has like a whole like dog like basically kind of like a shelter for
Oh, that's
dogs,
yeah,
and you can adopt them, and
yeah.
it's all in LA,
Well, see, you know more about these
or
people than
actually
I
Beverly
do.
Hills.
You know more about the LA people than I do because I like live here and I don't pay any attention to them.
Did you grow up there?
No, no, I came here like
Where'd you grow up?
long on the East Coast.
Oh, where at?
You
Where?
want to know where? In D.C., our
Yes.
Yeah.
nation, in the nation's capital. Inside, I was actually born.
Oh,
I'm actually from inside the D.C. Yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
I,
okay.
okay.
yeah.
We're in
So,
Pennsylvania.
oh no way, Round Top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to
Yep.
go and ski Round Top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved Round Top long ago. Yeah, that was so fun. Yeah, that's where I learned how to ski. Yeah,
Okay. We're like Quakertown area.
I gotcha. Yeah, yep.
Not far
Yeah,
from Philly,
I mean,
hour north of
I've
Philly.
been to Philadelphia plenty of times. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly's like an hour away.
Yeah,
I always
Yeah.
say, like, now when I meet people, I'm like, it just depends. If you know the area, I'm like, I'm closer to Quakertown than I'm 10 minutes away from Quakertown, and
yeah,
a lot of people know about Quakertown, and then it's like
yeah,
Philly, we're like an hour away.
yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Well, yeah. LA, I like LA
What
because
made you move out to LA?
you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Yeah, I
To
do.
be famous,
No,
you wanted to be an actor,
you don't want no a girl, a girl.
a girl.
Yeah.
And what?
Are you
It didn't work
serious?
out, and you're there.
Oh well, no. This is, I was glad I came, but yeah. So I came out because of a girl, which was fun. It was great.
Mm.
And then you move on, things change, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually really enjoying it here. So I stayed.
You stayed.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's good. Well, that worked out for you.
yeah, yeah. It's a nice city. I like the way
Do you,
you have the city. You have like downtown. You have, you know, and then you can like drive a few blocks, and you're like up in the hills, and it's like
Yeah.
wildlife everywhere, and it took you 5 minutes to get up there. And you can
That's
look
cool.
out and see the city, and it's really that's
all right, stop. You're making me jealous.
yeah, I
You can't talk
know.
anymore. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're like in the woods.
Well, but that's the Pennsylvania though. It's green.
Very green.
Yeah,
A lot of trees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
green.
Isn't it super expensive to live out in LA though?
It's absurd. I gotta tell you,
What's your rent?
it's
What are you paying right now?
a
Gotta
lot,
be so hot.
a lot.
How much?
Well, I mean, a lot.
Tell me how
A-
much you're
like
paying for
like a lot.
Probably
Like
probably
it
a
should
a
couple
be.
one
thousand.
bedroom.
It should be here, and actually, I pay like here.
Yeah.
So what do you have? A one bedroom?
Well, I have a lot of room.
W-
I have a lot of room, but
Do you rent
it's
out there? Or
too
you
much
own?
money. Well, I've done
Yeah.
both.
Right.
I've done both, and right now I'm renting. I
Renting.
gotta tell you, I'm getting tired of it. I'd much prefer to just go and get something again because
Yeah.
I kind of thought that renting would be sort of a nice, I don't know, eh, people take care
A
of everything.
change.
Everybody,
Hmm.
people, they take care of everything for you, except it's not.
Right.
Mhm.
It's like one problem after another, and
Well, they
Well,
take
you
the
yeah,
know,
landlord
I
take
know.
look,
forever to get it fixed.
I'm sort of
I know because I rent.
well, yeah. So you know, and I'm just kind of naturally a little lazy, and I kind of want people to just take care of stuff when it breaks. Uh,
Right.
but then there's like noise. There's noise things that you like.
Is there?
Somebody has a party nearby. Not that
Yeah.
I wouldn't normally mind, but sometimes it gets a little tiresome.
It's loud.
Yeah, I just like having, in LA, you can go and you can have a house and you can be just like on the edge of the city. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so you can have that nice combination of privacy and quiet, but you can get down the hill to like the restaurants in like under 10 minutes. You know what I mean? That's like
Right.
that's what's nice about LA. I love that sort of,
So, like, do
yeah.
you like this is probably the stupidest question, and probably people ask it all the time, but do you ever see celebrities when you're
Oh,
outside, like out and about,
yes, of course. They are
all the
all,
time?
yeah, and sometimes, what was the funniest one? I was I was at some show somewhere with friends, and
Yeah.
there were two guys, one here and one here. I was with like five or six friends, and there were these two
Right.
male voices. I was like talking to a friend of mine, and two guys started yelling at each other, like
Mm-hmm.
yelling past me. And I was kind of like, what? And I was trying to talk to my friend, and my friend got real quiet and was just sort of looking at me like trying to tell me to shut up. And these two guys kept like
Right.
arguing. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? And he was like, come here, come here. And I was like, what? And he goes, that's Charlie Sheen and his dad. They're in a fight.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I know. So stuff like that, but that happens because
So you just
I'm terrible at spotting these people. And these two
well,
guys were
yeah, I
having
can
a fight
imagine. Yeah.
right next to me, and
You don't even
I
know.
didn't even know.
That's hilarious.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
That
was
is
curious if
funny.
like you see them
yeah,
out and about.
yeah. You really do. You see, another time I was walking on Ventura Boulevard, and what the Big Bang Theory, that show, you know that
Yeah,
show?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There were like
Yeah.
the four main cast people were just strolling down the sidewalk together
Oh, really?
right in front of me. Yeah, the Big Bang Theory
Right.
people.
And
I
you
was like,
didn't
what
know?
the heck? No, I knew that one. That one I knew. I was like, oh, those are the guys from that show. And it was like the girl was there, the short guy with the glasses was
From
there.
Blossom.
What? Huh? What are their names?
The girl that used to play on Blossom. What is her name?
Oh, I can't remember her name.
She used to
But
play for. How old are you?
old.
Yeah, but how old? You might be close to our age.
No, you're young.
No,
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
not.
Yes, you are. I'm old.
What year were you born?
I'm in my 50s.
Oh, see, you don't sound like you are.
See, that's because I'm.
I mean, I'm almost
See,
40, so we're not that far
you're
apart.
very young.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I
You're
am 40.
very young.
He's
40,
40.
40, and I'm glad you got a tarot reading tonight because you're so young. You need it because you haven't even figured out. You don't even know what you're doing yet. So you need you need the tarot reading.
So how often have you been doing these in alt space occasionally?
Well,
Have you
no.
been
Oh, yeah, very
doing it?
occasionally. I set this up, I don't know, last year or something, and then I kind of forgot I had set it up. And so I came
Yeah.
back, and the screen was all broken. They had changed, you know how they change things, and certain things
Yeah.
stopped working. So I had to set it
Right.
all up again real quick, the screen thing. But everything was still here. The tree, the whole environment was just sitting here. And I was like,
Oh,
oh yeah, I made this a couple of years ago. I'll start using it again. For these little tarot readings, There was
pretty,
this kid in here the other day, this guy, and we did a tarot reading, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool because I just got accepted in college today and it fits for me." And I was like, "Wow,
Oh,
it was
really?
like I
That's
remember
cool.
those days, you know."
Do you have any kids?
I do have a daughter. Yes. Yep. She's
That's
great.
cool.
How old is she?
she's now, oh God, she's 29. So
Oh
Mhm.
gosh.
I have to get her a good present this year because this is going to be coming up is her 30th.
Oh, we're 30th.
Oh, so then
Yeah.
you have to be in your later 50s, right? She's gonna
Yeah.
be 30.
Yeah. She's going to
You're
be,
like 50 what? 57, 8, 9.
well, you shouldn't tell people your exact age online. It's not, don't run around telling people your exact age online.
Yeah, it's not
Oh, I
proper
don't care.
You
etiquette,
really,
Rachel.
no, it's not etiquette.
Oh,
It's just,
I don't care.
it's, well, just in general, just to sort of, to be a little protective of
So
yourself. You
make
should,
yourself anonymous.
don't be too specific with people about those things.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell anyone your birthday. You shouldn't really even put your birthday on Facebook if it's public. You really shouldn't. You should like,
Yeah, I
So
don't really care. I mean, that doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you. I
until
mean,
you get hacked and they steal all your shit.
I'm not
well,
worried about that. I've had that for like I don't even know how long, 19 years or whatever it's been since I signed up for Facebook. It's
well,
always been
yeah,
on there.
yeah, and that's true for most people. But I'm in software development, so I know that security people are always telling me, don't put your birthday anywhere. Like, don't when you get your vaccination for the COVID thing, don't take a photograph of your COVID card and put it on Facebook.
Well, everybody's doing that. I don't understand why. It's like, do
I
you do
know.
that every time you get a flu shot? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I
Why
know.
are you blasting that all over Facebook? I don't care if you decide to get vaccinated or not. Why are you posting it? It's just stupid.
I agree. I
I
just
see everyone like, oh, I got my COVID vaccine. I'm like, who are you trying to tell that to? Like, because if it's your friends, then just tell them you got it.
I'm gonna start posting receipts when I go fill up my car with gas. It's like
Exactly. That'd be like, can you believe this gas price that I paid? Can you believe that? Like, look at this gas. Like
yeah,
it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck?
I think the idea started with a few doctors doing it, and they were like, "Look, if we show people that we felt it was safe and we weren't going to drop dead, and then
It was probably
everybody else,
Biden's idea.
then, well,
Biden's idea.
uh, you, I'll tell you what, politicians could use tarot readings.
Yeah, they could.
They could use some tarot readings.
Yeah,
All of them. could.
Biden could maybe he'll be able to stand up in the wind.
Well, he's he's very frail in many ways, but then again,
Oh, very.
he's
Extremely frail to the point where he might the
he-
next wind, like a 25-mile-per-hour wind, might knock him over, and Kamala Harris is going to be our next president. Like,
well,
mark my words.
it's like these presidents. I really would rather a president be somewhere in their 40s, really, like late 40s.
Yeah, Biden's much too old.
Like right in that
Really?
like 45 to
He's
60
old man.
zone. Yeah. Well, and the fact does remain.
Are you Republican or Democrat?
I'm not telling you. The fact remains, though.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, because
he wants to start a
we-
fight.
we really
then I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna hunt you down.
good. Well, that would probably just be fun. That would be fun, and I would probably
Yeah, you might like that. Actually,
would-
I'm not gonna do that.
I would probably hide in some bushes and but there should be a woman president, though. There should be I don't care. It doesn't matter what. Well, it does matter what she thinks, but there should be I mean, think about this. We're like behind. We're way behind, like with that, for compared to other countries. Look at Germany.
Well,
you
I
know?
don't think you can compare what we're doing to other countries. I mean, I'm like
Well,
that.
not in every way.
I mean that like, yeah. I don't. I mean, it's to each their own. I
yeah,
mean,
but it would be nice to get a
I think
different
that
perspective.
I think that we elect people presidents based off of whatever, like race, because we don't want to look like we're racist, and so and everyone hated Trump, and it was like, gotta get somebody else new in there, and it's like, we'll just take the next best thing, and we'll do,
Hey,
because this amount of people hate Trump, and so
yeah,
we're just gonna get a bunch of people, and then Biden's like, oh, well, I'm gonna hire a black vice president because that will look good for me.
well,
Like,
I mean, look, everybody has their own motives for doing whatever they do, and you don't really know if somebody's motives are like, you know,
no,
honorable
we
or
no, we
not.
don't.
You don't really know. You can't really tell. Eh,
We
And
don't, but that's what America is based off of. That's where the riots come from. It's like, you're a racist because this happened to this person, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of biased opinions out there. So
well, this country's in this weird spot right now where it's like all of the people that are actually friends are like having a big it's like a big family at the dining table on Thanksgiving getting into a huge argument and getting all serious about it. You know what I mean? It's really like a
right, yeah.
weird time. Oh, looks like that she collapsed. It's so
Either
funny.
she got off or she went to the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's so funny though how like the avatar, the eyes like keep blinking and like making eye contact even when the person's not even. See what I mean?
I know. Juliet, look over here. Look over here.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, she just texted me. She said, "Go and potty, BRB."
There you go. Well, I better run because I've got to do my little stream thing tonight. Um,
Okay.
it's. Are you guys gonna be here again? Are you gonna come and like demand a
Yeah, well,
reading?
I favorited your world, so
Okay.
we'll be back.
Well, you better because I would love to do another reading. Like, I'll come back in here tomorrow or the night after. I think I could. What's
Well, I
the?
need to come back in like next week after I had like a week of work,
Yeah.
and then like I'm only working part-time there, so I'm working there Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and it's like probably like 22 hours.
Yeah.
And then I clean houses on the side. So I clean houses Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay.
So
That.
I wanna come back to see how you think my first week of work went and
Oh
that kind of
yes,
stuff,
yes, absolutely. Okay, that's you. You got a deal. I will do that. Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you have a really good week. And don't forget these three cards:
Thank you.
Chariot, Justice, and the Five of Cups. Keep them in
Five of
mind what I
Cups. Okay.
said. Basically, the idea is don't worry if something's unsettling, you feel a little this or that, you've got this because you like have this sort of natural ability to take charge and stay calm. Okay,
And I agree with you.
keep that in mind. Okay, I'm gonna get going now
hmm
because I got to do this thing. And
Okay.
it was great talking to Shake, Shake.
Shaky,
Vert,
shaky,
word,
shaky.
Jake. Good night. Good. Good night.
Good
and
night.
and I'll see you next week then.
Yeah, yeah. I'll come in next. I'll pop on next week and come into your world, and when I see, because we're friends now, so I can see when you're on.
Okay, sounds good. All right, you guys have a great night. that that's what happens in VR. You get your hair all messed up and you meet interesting people who have different points of view, and they clearly, I was talking to someone who had some different ideas than I do about there. Now I've got the right microphone on. But there in VR, I was talking to some people who, you know, I think, you meet people with different points of view than you have, and but the thing is, when you get onto the subject of tarot and you start doing a tarot reading, you get onto this sort of universal plane that everybody sort of understands somehow, and all of the different perspectives kind of work together instead of being in conflict. But you could see how in VR, when one of them started talking about politics, and I was kind of like, not trying not to be too specific, because that's sort of what I do. But it's just interesting how different perspectives and stuff like that work. Tarot kind of melds them. It connects people in an interesting way. It sort of bridges differences. It's amazing. That's actually probably one of the best things about it. But I like that going into VR during a stream, because everything's unexpected. It gets this sort of, it gets a little rough around the edges. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know what they're going to be saying. You don't know what they're. Well, it's the same anywhere when you connect with people online, even through Twitch, I guess. Unity, yes, VR Tarot, right? And the mic wasn't picking me up. Which mic was it? Yeah, right. The mic when I switched out of VR. Yeah, we're all on a journey. That's right. And being in VR, and you run into characters, people that are like actually very willing to open up and connect. Partly because they feel that safety of the avatar in this world, and it allows them to kind of open up a bit in an interesting way. And so yes, this woman there in VR has a new job apparently, and she wants to go and get through her first week and then come back into VR and get a reading for the after she's completed that new job, the beginning, which is cool. I will definitely do that, because I just, even though we have different ideas, points of view, I can tell from how the conversation was going. We have different political ideas. I don't care. I like her. You meet nice people. It's like, for some reason, you just you like people anyway. And that's one of the things I think we're losing track of in our country, that tarot can really help with. It's one of those secret powers of tarot, if you will, that it gives you a way to communicate with people that takes the pressure off. So people with diverging points of view can actually agree and come together. And so it's a way for them to go, oh my God, what have we been missing? Why is everybody so antagonistic toward everyone else? Why? Look how easy it is. All you have to do is bring up these,
you start talking about tarot, my gosh, what else can we talk about without fighting? You know, it's fascinating, really. To do tarot reading for people in VR chat, that would be. Oh yeah, I think so. If you were gonna do it in VR chat, see, the thing is, in VR Unity, you could do it two ways. The way I chose was to show cards in the VR world, which takes an extra step of work to do, because you don't have props there for a tarot deck. You can't. So I had to use a tool in AltSpace VR world called a web projector, and it's a tool just like you can place like a tree or a table in the VR world. You can also place something called a web projector, which is simply something like a panel, and you can place it in your world and position it and tweak it and make it bigger or smaller, but you can link it to a web page. And that web page could be anything. I could put CNN up there if I wanted or whatever. But I have my own web page with tarot cards, and I put that link in so I can show these tarot cards 3 at a time in the VR world. Now in VR chat, I don't know. I don't know what they have. They might have something similar. I bet they do, because most VR worlds want people to come in there and have meetings, like companies and stuff. They want people to be able to say, okay, let's have a virtual meeting, and we need to have like a whiteboard to show stuff on. And so most of them have some kind of a tool for connecting to a web page. So you could do the same thing I did. You could link to a web page with, and you could have the images of 3 cards, and you could read those cards to people in VR chat, and then you change the cards on the web page, and then update in VR chat, and that probably worked pretty similarly to mine. Yeah, people can create props. Yes, but it would be a really tall order to try to create an entire tarot deck where you could like actually pull individual cards out in VR. That would be really, really hard. So I think the screen approach is the way to go, at least until some company makes a tarot deck, you know, that one can. There's all kinds of ways of doing it, actually. Now my programmer mind is kicking in. But there are programming languages you can use to build things in VR. And there's capability to build games. So anything that allows you to put multiple images in some sort of a set in VR could potentially be used to create a set of images being a tarot deck. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, VR makes me, it gets hot in that thing. You know, makes me thirsty. But, okay, so I'm going to do a sort of an energy reading with real cards now. I'm going to go over there. And, whoops, what am I doing with my controls? I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. So, I'm going to just do this quick. I'm going to go to the tarot table. All right. I've got my new deck I used the other day here. Now, I'm going to do a sort of a reading that's like a general sort of feelings and thoughts, heart, head. You know, simple 4 cards. And this is a general reading for the evening. Heart and head. All right. This is hopes. This is our spiritual self card. This is us. Our hopes. King of Cups. This is a sort of a self-assured feeling. This is someone in charge of their emotions, in charge of their feeling, doesn't let the passion run away, doesn't let the feelings take over, is always sort of even keeled, kind of has a sort of the emotions are never too intense. They're a little bit sort of on the controlled side, a little locked down at times. Maybe I kind of keeps people a little bit at a distance, sort of like he's doing with that cup there. It's held a little bit away, you know, but a person who's comfortable with themselves. And this is what we kind of hope for, a sort of balanced kind of, maybe at the time. And this is sort of a relatively, it's not that huge a deal. It's a personality card, you know, it's a court card. It means this is kind of like the kind of person maybe we'd like to meet and talk to in the next few days. This is kind of how we'd like to present ourselves, perhaps. Just sort of get a kind of more of a grip on our feelings about things. That's what that card is. And this card is the card, what we think. This is what we're kind of thinking about the whole thing. Oh, this one, that's how perfect. This is, you know, maybe we want to take a little time. Take a little time and you know, think things through a little more carefully than we're used to doing. You know, think about our feelings and where they come from. What's making us feel these things. Now these are feelings, and this is the Fool. Okay, so up here, this heart element, this cup here, we want this, we seek, we hope and wish for this sort of equanimity, this even-keeled ability to control our emotions. Here, what we're actually feeling, though, is a kind of a, you know, we just want to go out and experience. We want more. We want more, and it's a risk, and we know it. We're just sort of plunging in, and we don't know what the heck we're doing. We're just like, hey, let it happen. This is just sort of the reality of how we behave at times over here, and this is what our feelings do inside. You know, we want to think things through more, and we have that ability. We want to be alone and figure ourselves out, but our feelings just keep running along. There's this wise, sort of very quiet approach, and then there's this blibbity 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 blah 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 kind of way, and these are if you think about it, this is sort of the arbitration between these two. This is the connector. This is the overseer who is like, okay, let's try to combine these two things and get some kind of a medium going here. Now down here, heart of the matter. This is the main issue. And we have a reversed page of swords. Okay, page, young, ambitious, a little unprepared, very willing, very eager. And the swords are thought, intellect, competition, conflict. But, the page isn't particularly interested in a lot of conflict. He's more interested in learning how to wield his ideas, how to apply what he's learned or is in the midst of learning. He's very eager. But reversed, there's something we're nervous about. We want a little more seasoned quality. So we're seeking this, and we risk losing this enthusiasm. This page has similarities to the Fool. This page could represent someone or a self-perception we have about, feeling, uninspired. So we want to synthesize these and find a happy medium between happy-go-lucky, foolish, foolhardiness, solitary, pondering, eager beaver, get out there, and the controlling, calm, seasoned. So we're looking for balance. That's what this reading is saying. The heart and the head. We're looking for balance between the two. The strong feelings, adventurousness, foolishness, eagerness, with the quiet, solitary, monk-like pondering and learning about the self, the more meditative approach to life. And somewhere in the middle, and we want to escape the resistance to learning, that eager love of going out into the world and experiencing it that this page represents. And this is, we want to learn more. We don't want to, our ideas, they're getting stale. They're getting stale. That's the heart of the matter here. Our ideas are stale. Let's find new ideas. Let's run out and put them into effect. We love doing that, but let's maintain a balanced approach ultimately, because that is the ancient Greek saying, the medium, all things, in their right measure. So yeah, that's a new deck. That is a deck by an author who wrote a book about tarot. Liz Dean is her name, and the deck is illustrated. Hang on, That's very important. The deck is illustrated by Emma Gardner. Emma Garner. And I got that deck because I was reading the book first, and I noticed that the book was using cards, these cards in small, you know how these tarot books do diagrams of spreads and stuff like that. And they explain cards. Well, I thought this deck looked really nice, so I decided to get her deck. And I'm glad I did, because it's different than anyone that I own otherwise. And what I often like about tarot decks is I like them to be a little painterly, but also sort of like illustrations. And they have to have a little rough edge. They can't be perfect. They can't be super duper tidy. That's just me, you know. But yeah. So she wrote a book that's actually not bad. It's called Understanding Tarot. Discover the tarot and find out what your cards really mean. And it's one of those tarot books that's like relatively, it's not enormously complex, but there's something about it that I like, the way she writes. That's the, the way the words flow in certain tarot books is really important, because it just gives you a feeling. And that's almost more important than the specifics of what they're saying sometimes about the cards. Because after all, we read tarot books, and most of us have read quite a number of them. And a lot of them are like just different ways of saying very similar things about decks, about the cards. But there's also another interesting book I found this week. Cimaxion, the book company that does those big, great photo books, art books, stuff. They've done a tarot book, a big, fat, hardback book about the tarot. It's amazing. It's just Cimaxion, that's the publisher, Taschen. They make those huge coffee table books. And this one is simply called Tarot. And it's the first book in their new series having to do with occult arts, that kind of stuff. So they decided tarot was the number one thing. And here, I'll get it. Hang on a second. So this book, Cimaxion, that company that does all those big art books, but they made this book, and it's like, it's got like art all through it. It's incredible, this thing. So that's a really, really cool new tarot book that, I bet a whole lot of tarot people will be into this. Let me see what the... I'm looking for the... Can't even find it. Like the date, they must have put it in the back on this one. Cimaxion, edited in 2020. It was published in 2020. Yep. It's brand new, this thing. They're calling the series The Library of Esoterica. Tarot, the first one. But yeah, I'm like working my way through that slowly. The price on that book is actually not nearly what a lot of Taschen books are. That book is around $35. But yeah, so books are good because they for tarot, because those different ways of expressing things different writers have about tarot, they can really sort of give you a different approach. They vary your approach just enough, like you go, oh, you know what, here's an idea from that book I was reading that I think will apply to this person who's listening to me. I think it's a good turn of phrase, maybe. It's not like, you can't remember exactly what they're saying, but you kind of have that, you get a flavor for a slightly different angle on how to explain a card to someone. And yeah, that you hadn't really thought of before or used before. And you're like, oh yeah, that's a really good... Sometimes it's just a single word. Like someone in a book will say something about the Fool card. And you'll realize, like the Fool card, the word maybe plunge. Take the plunge. Oh, I hadn't used that word in a reading with the Fool card, but it's perfect. It works. Take the plunge. That kind of thing. That's why I read the books. Yes, the Visconti Sforza. Hold on a sec. I think you're talking about that one. Right, I think that's it. Oh man, yeah. Look at the devil. Jeez, I gotta use this deck. What is wrong with me? This is a great deck. That is one cool devil. Oh, and it's funny, look at the tower. They're falling and they're holding hands. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. This is one of those decks I kind of look at briefly and put aside for some reason, and I never actually use it. I don't know why. It's a great deck. I'll use it for something. I mean, they're big. These cards are enormous. They're like... But that's okay. You just have to think of it as like an entire book. Hey, you know what? Let's try a reading with the Sforza deck. Oh, yeah, okay. Talks about that deck in particular. Yeah, so what you want, maybe, you're going to get historical information. They do talk about it in the new Taschen book, but they talk about it like in a historical context, like who they think originated it, who the artists might have been, that kind of, that kind of stuff. Here, I'll use it for a quick 3-card reading. Let me put the tarot cam on. Ooh, okay. Man, I don't even know if it's physically possible to shuffle these. I can't do it. I gotta shuffle these like this. There's just no way to shuffle them any other way. I have no idea. They're just crazy. They're like the size of, parking tickets. They're okay. I think that's okay. Now I'm going. All right, 3 cards. Uno, due, tre. Italiano. Parlo italiano un poco. Por lo tarot. Uno, due, tre. Well, they're all. I didn't mean to do that. Here, I want them right side up. We don't need reversals for this. Wow, yeah. That's the Fool card. That's that classic Sforza Fool wearing the thin little raggedy robe. Good grief. Look at this. That's the Lover card. Right? Wheel of Fortune. That is the Lover card. I'm not making some huge mistake. They're sort of, yeah, it's just a little ambiguous for some reason. You ordered the Visconti Sforza, the Marseille, and the Rider Waite. That's awesome. That is the perfect approach, actually. That's pretty much what I did. You hit those bases, those 3 decks. Absolutely. That is like a solid, that covers all the angles really on tarot. Now at some point I would say get the Toth deck by Crowley. It's a little oddball, he made some changes, but they're worth sort of reading through and knowing. And the cards are really stunning. You know, if you get a nice print version of them, they're really gorgeous. I never use those though anymore for some reason, because I sort of find the Tarot de Marseille kind of does it all for me. But I think the 3 decks you got, you're like going to be cruising. Yeah, totally. But yeah, here we have the Fool, the Lovers, and the Wheel of Fortune in the Sforza deck. And so, you know, the idea coming up here, this, you know, embarking without caution on something, this, you know, willingness to just see what's coming without worrying too much about it, and basically taking risks we sometimes don't even know are there. We're more interested in just setting out and finding things. We're so excited about that we dismiss the treacherousness of the trail. That's what this card is. So we set out, and come what may, and you know, here we are seeking. We're seeking what we really love, what we really, really want in life, and we're seeking a bond. We have to decide what that is when we are upon it. We have to recognize it, you know, and seize that moment, make that decision. And only then will we make that next step, make that new discovery that'll help us grow, move forward, and become who we are going to be. Wheel of Fortune. There's just a tiny Sforza reading. Just a way of warming up the cards. That massive sized deck. I could put those out. I could put those up like on bus stops as like posters. They're so big. Yeah, that Crowley deck, Aleister Crowley, is an oddball. Oh, okay. Decaf milk toast. Okay, decaf milk toast. I'm going to pick your name out of this queue. Go ahead, decaf milk toast. It's a good one, though. I would stick with it. Random names can be really cool. College decisions, yes. Yep. Oh man, yeah, college. Oh my God, college decisions. Oh my God, I remember them. Yeah. I swear, I think that's where I learned what the word anxiety meant. Okay, so you have several college decisions. I'm not sure. I guess they're decisions. Curious about, because yeah, just for a bit of fun. Yeah. These decisions. I know. That's why when I was making those college decisions, I learned what anxiety really was for the first time, and yeah. So, tarot informs. It jogs thoughts up. It jostles your thinking a little bit, is what it does, and it gives you a couple new things maybe to think about. It makes you sort of recognize things that might have, that maybe something that you might not have fully considered. I think that's what tarot is really good for. So I think I know what you mean by enormous in magnitude decisions around college. So I don't know what the exact decisions are, but I do sort of know, I do remember my own. I know that feeling. And mostly use it to read. Yes. Oh, right. Of course. Yeah. Look, if you've got unfathomably enormous decisions to make regarding college, then you are clearly intelligent enough to handle a tarot reading. In other words, I know you're not going to run amok with what a tarot reading says and decide to tear up all your college admission, your college acceptance letters, and say, forget it, I've been told that what I should really do is go and bungee jump for the next 6 years in Spain. So, right. So I'm going to I'm going to switch over to the new deck. So let's see. Okay. We're going to push 7 cards out onto the table for this. Going to be the 7 right off the top of the deck when I finish, jumbling it all around. Thinking about college, big decisions, just kind of hoping that the cards just have something to offer to sort of keep the anxiety, kind of just give us some hints, basically, little elbow prods in the ribs, that kind of thing. All right. Present moment. feelings, thinking. Heart of the matter, right there, the core. Subconscious, this is more hidden. Hopes, what we're after. And outcome. Okay. Well. Having to do with college. Ah, yes. Those days. Let's get in and look first at the fourth card, which is in the middle, the heart. King of Swords, air, mental, the intellect. This, after all, is what we're working on. We're going to college, to not to change our appearance. We're learning how to think. Now, the King of Swords knows exactly how to wield his ideas, his knowledge, his skills. He knows how to learn. He's very adept. So the heart of the matter here is there's a certitude, there's a confidence in what's already understood, and there's a confidence that this can be done, that this is the right path, that this college thing is in fact what's going to set us up, put us into a comfortable position, and give us not only the skills to go out and handle conflict, but to simply to protect ourselves and care for ourselves and others. That's what the King of Swords represents, that sort of balanced, calm, very confident, assured, controlled approach to things in the realm of the mind. Education. This is a great card for education. This is the look at this pose, this gaze, total confidence. Okay, so that is something we know we've got. That's at the heart of the issue here. Learning, college, new experience, all going to be handled very well. That's what the idea here is. So that's something to kind of constantly fall back on and recognize about oneself. Now we'll come down to the first card, which is kind of the present moment. What's happening? This character goes and needs time to be alone, to think quietly, to examine things from all sides, things that are very, they're these thoughts, truths that can be very elusive, they're subtle. There are things to consider that maybe people on the outside don't see. So this lone figure with his lamp seeks knowledge of him or herself, seeks the truth, and will not rest until they find it. That is the message of this card, and this card is a major arcana card. That means this is a very deep-seated aspect of the personality. It's embedded in the situation also. As anxious as it may be, and as fraught with confusion as it may be, this character is here to remind you, like the Buddha sitting under the tree, eyes half open, gazing at the ground or gazing across the valley, sitting quietly for as long as it darn well took to come to the knowledge of the truth. And in this case, it's the truth of this situation, this matter, making decisions. Calm, certain confidence, intelligence, applied, internally, in solitude, without all the distracting voices, And there can be a lot of them around college decisions, a lot of distracting voices. A lot of people have their own opinions. A lot of people want the best for someone. And they have their, parents do. All sorts of people have ideas about what the best path is. This guy is here to tell all of us, you find your own path. It's that path that's kind of blinking in the fog like his lamp would be from a distance. That's what this card says. It's that little blinking, little light you see through the fog. And wait, is that a light? Where am I? Oh, maybe. That's the nature of seeking the truth. Now we move up to the emotional life, the feelings. This page, okay, the feelings. The page wants to get out and go. He wants to run off to college. He wants to experience dorm life. Go and, just blunder in like a big old silly, like, newbie. And it's the swords again, just like the king. This is where the king had to start. But this is reversed, and these feelings, the feelings around all of this decision making and this thinking and finding the truth, the idea being we worry sometimes that we might lose something. A couple of years ago we thought, we'd love to be this or that. I want to be a scientist that researches fungus and how it grows and trees. I love trees. And now it's gotten hard and we had to do all these tests. We have to do all this work. And this guy is now reversed. And so we're feeling a little like, where is he? Why isn't it fun anymore? So we have to kind of find out why these feelings are, we don't want them to be overwhelmed by the work and the anxiety. We want this guy back upright going, yep, put me on the bus, pack my bag and get me to my new dorm room. I'm going. So that guy this is our confused feelings about this. Now, we'll cross over to thinking. And we've got another page going on. And this page is of the heart, the cups, the feeling, the water sign, and again, the enthusiasm, the running forward. I want to experience. I want to know what all of this is. Well, this is our thoughts. So we're feeling all of this doubt. We're feeling this sort of crisis of, hey, maybe we're losing our enthusiasm because of all this darn decision making and it's oppressive, but damn it, we're going to figure out how to bring it back. I want that feeling back. Let's focus on that. I want to know that what my decision is going to be is the one that gives me this, the one that I love. I don't want to do what someone else wants me to do, what somebody thinks necessarily is the super wisest choice. I want to seek the path in life and learn about what I love. That's what this guy, and that's something that we're reminding ourselves to do. Okay, let's keep going. The 5. This is hidden. This is unconscious. Okay. This is like the 5, and the 5. Surprisingly, we're talking about unconscious quality here. Something we sort of, it kind of comes up when we least expect it. This one, and why? And so it's the coins, the pentacles. This is the physical realm. What? We're talking about college. Why is it? Well, the coins are important when you're going to college because, look, that's why your grandmother tells you to go and become a doctor, because doctors always are successful and they make money and they can take care of themselves and their family. This concern with taking care of oneself, having wherewithal, is a big factor underlying people's hopes and wishes and decisions around colleges. and it informs what parents tell you. It informs, you go and you sometimes, many of my friends, want to study something artistic, and then, some family member goes like, "What are you, nuts? How are you going to run a bank studying literature?" That's why this card's here, because this card's the 5, and the 5 is unsettling. The 5 says, you know what? You've been pretty stable, you've been pretty darn secure, and now, there's something new. There's a 5th element here that's snuck in, and now you're not so sure anymore. And you're not so sure necessarily about where this will take you in the realm of finance and money, income. You don't know, because you haven't gone through the process. That's one aspect. But you're also nervous just on the basis of having to make a decision about what the best place to be is, or what you want to do regarding college and some aspect of college, and how that affects your ability to take care of yourself and your world. And that comes up, it pops up in your dreams. It can make you nervous, more nervous than you think. Now, over here, this is the desire card. This is the card of want. The Hierophant, the High Priest, is sometimes called. Other decks call him the Pope, But this card is a major one. And what it's saying is, we want to understand and balance the two worlds, the upper and the lower. We want to balance the intellect with intuition. We want, the subjective and the objective. We also want it to be relatively stable. We want a stability. That's why I use the word balance, because the Hierophant is a religious figure, a teaching figure, a figure you don't have to really associate with an organized religion, but it's a spiritual figure that's able to bring spiritual, more intuitive ideas and teach others, but always sort of remaining in a tradition. So it does tend toward organized thinking. It has a traditional aspect to it. We want to fall back on those comforting older traditions, and it's a little conservative in nature. If things go a little awry with the Hierophant, it can lead to a more rigid kind of a structured belief. So we are looking to learn something here, to apply ourselves, and we're concerned. We have this unconscious concern about wherewithal, and here we want to combine more. It could be artistic or esoteric thinking with rational thinking, perhaps. There's a combination going on here. There's a struggle here. We want some assurance. Perhaps we're hoping that some professor give us a path, take us under their wing, show us what we're really capable of, maybe give us some foundation that we can rely on while we're learning. This is a teaching card, and it's upright and positive. This indicates a teacher, a balanced teacher that's not super wild, and is going to give us a sense of security and probably help with this concern here. Now, if we find this, and look how this teaching on a slightly traditional level plays with this, the heart issue, this very capable, authoritative figure who represents kind of the, an established order that these pages aspire, they lead eventually through the process of learning to this. But this guy here is very, very, very important in this reading, especially where college is concerned, because this is the teacher, this is the professorial card, this is the philosopher. You can interchange these words that I use, spiritual with rational. You can say philosophical versus mathematical. The combination, the balance of these things is represented here. This is what we're striving to find. Now here at the pinnacle, the outcome is a giant, literally, it's a huge flag. A red flag. I don't mean red flag in the negative sense. I mean it just as a giant signal flag on a hill. Ace of Pentacles, this one. This where you have your little unconscious worries, this unsettled feeling. But taking all of this process and moving it through, pondering, thinking about trying to make sure you're following your heart, get your enthusiasm back, find that learning, go into that state of learning, balanced, instructive, confident, secure, safe learning, leads you past these doubts and upheaval to this, which is the symbol, the Ace of Pentacles, of the ultimate preparedness, the infinite possibility. And it's in that physical wherewithal realm. So basically this card is saying, hey man, don't worry, because you're just at the start. You're down here. You're where this guy is. You're still pondering and thinking. You want all this enthusiastic. Get this guy running. Get him running. He's going to drop right into this guy's classroom and he's going to learn. And bingo, look at that big gold. I should say gold. That big gold light waiting at the end of this process. That's like, okay, you get through this, you climb this ladder, you trust in this self-confident guy here, and you apply this heartfelt enthusiasm and all this self-knowledge that you're going to learn, that you're going to gain, and you learn what you need to learn, and you do it in safe surroundings. You'll get there. You will have all this potential. This is the card you want the day you step out of college, the day you step off the stage with your diploma. You want that card. So, decaf milk toast. I think I actually really enjoyed that reading because, I mean, all I can do is compare it to myself when I was doing that, and I wish to hell that I had had that reading when I was, making those decisions. Yeah, decaf milk toast. That was a total pleasure. I'm glad you asked that question because I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Those feelings, those decisions, and that got me, because I got to tell you, when I say I know those feelings, I'm being totally serious, and they were huge at the time. I remember being so riddled with anxiety. I was like, I didn't even want to walk into my high school. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My friends are all doing this and that and that. So, so yeah, I would say, follow the heart of the page, do your self-searching, quietly without intrusive voices, and think about that Hierophant card on the upper left corner there. That is so key, because you'll meet that guy. That's the thing about students in college. A student that's interested in something gets a weird spark. And quite often that's recognized by the perfect professor at the perfect time in the college career, who can give you that one little thing. Sometimes it comes down to a meeting across a desk where they tell you that one little thing that you need to hear. And it sets you off going down the road for the rest of your life. You mark my words, you're going to find it. And when it happens, you're going to remember. You're going to know what I'm talking about. So keep that card in mind. All right. Lucred altar. Lucred altar. Lucred altar. I'm trying to pronounce things and I'm terrible at it. Lucred altar. Lucard. Okay, while you type... oh, no, I have some water. I was going to go and get another... I actually have some... I had an extra can of water. Yes, go ahead and just make... Yeah, if something... it doesn't give you, it's not like a predictive, definite answer like, yes, get on the number 4 bus tomorrow because you will find, a person that you will marry, and that, it's not like that. Just make a question and it'll give you hints. Any other main unities asking about main decks recommend other than the 4 brought up? Well, yeah, there's one oddball one that I got. And it's hard to say if it appeals to a lot of people, but it's called the Tattoo Tarot deck. I think that's all you need to search for it. Tattoo Tarot. And it's sort of reminiscent of tattoo ink drawings on the cards, but it follows, of course, it's not a Rider-Waite format. It's basically a Tarot de Marseille adaptation. But yeah, I like that one for some reason. It's got like that crude sort of rough line quality that I kind of like. Keep following the path you are pursuing. Is it? Oh yeah, absolutely valid. Yeah. Okay, so Lucard, I'm going to go over there to the tarot table, and should you keep following the path that you are pursuing? I'm just sort of thinking about. Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Oh, hang on 1 second. Okay, sorry, I had to take care of something. Now, following the path you're on, and only you know what that is. So, I'm going to do this reading, and you are going to have to consider whether anything mentioned gives you, and it's a common phrase, food for thought. That's what tarot is. It's literally food for thought. I should eat that apple. I don't know what the heck, why I don't, an apple just lying around on my table. What's the point? Okay, I'm going to pull 3 cards right off the top of the deck at some point. All right. Now, first thing that strikes about this reading is there's a relatively temporary sort of feeling about this. There's a personality card here, but the other 2 are relatively changeable. They're not permanent conditions. Okay, the path you're on, sort of what we're dealing with here is where we're coming from, okay? Where we are right now and where to go. The cups are the heart. This is love. This is feeling and emotion. This is kind of what you love, what you want, what you wanted for quite some time. But recently, you've had or have hoped to have this harmonious sense, a feeling of joy. You want to express it. You want to share. The 6 has this feeling of sharing, of kind of overflowing with happiness, and you there's a communal quality there. If it's a relationship, it's really very pleasurable. You're very attracted to something. It can be your love of a certain kind of a work that you do, a certain kind of creative thing you do. It can be for people, for a person, but it's a love feeling. This is a true heartfelt emotion, and the 6, you're overflowing with it. You've had this in your recent past, and it makes you feel like everything is right when you have this feeling. Everything is right with the world. It's sunshiny, it's stable, and you just want to sort of run around and tell people and communicate this. That's what the 6 is. That's a great path to be on, or to be coming from, coming from that condition. And it leads now. This is a more present portion of our path. And it's the wands. This is the creative energy. And it's reversed now. The knight is active. Go out, move, and take our creative energy and put it to work in the world. Damn the risks. But he's reversed, so there's a hold up here. We've got all this feeling, but we're doubting something about our abilities to make something, to do the work required, our drive, for some reason, that energy to create. It can also be the sensual energy, the attraction in a relationship. We've had all this emotional feeling, deep, joyful feeling at some point in the past. This is receding. And now we're here at a hesitation, an inability to get that inspiration here and put it out into the world. So we've come to a pause. We're wondering why that is. Now, the next thing, what we need to look at and grab onto, the next rock we need to leap to in the middle of the stream is the 5, also of wands. It's that creative fire energy, the fire in the belly that leads you to want to do something. Anything you do that's fertility, creation, the making of things, the making of anything, whether it's writing or music or art or something you do for work or love. It can be your physical attraction for someone. It's the drive. And the 5 is bring it on, bring that new element in. I need it because it's going to destabilize me. It's going to shake me up. It's going to freak me out, but it's going to send me shooting forward. That's what that 5 means. The 5 is a number of basically the 5 is like the 4 secure poles in the ground holding the 4 walls up, and you're real safe inside them. And then this 5th thing comes in, and it's a hand grenade, and it goes boom and blows the whole house up and sends you down a new path. That's what that 5 is. So this is coming. This stagnation, this doubt about which way to turn creatively, leads right to this. This is the next step. That's what this reading is saying. This is what comes. So the idea there is, remember those great feelings of the heart and use them to get past your hesitation, your doubt about the right path, because unsettling yourself is the next step. And it's a natural process sort of in making these decisions, is experiencing, allowing yourself to destabilize a little bit, consider a new idea. And it's focusing in this reading on that creative, emotional drive. Oh yeah, those stones, those are, I don't really do anything with them. And it's the kind of thing where those stones, if I am somewhere and they have stones, and I'll sort of talk to the person there about them briefly and just sort of get them out of interest, and I think they're nice basically, but I don't use them for anything specific because I just don't know enough. I couldn't possibly do anything with stones. There's so many things to know about crystals and stuff. I just don't even it's all I can do to keep wrap my brain around tarot cards. If I try to add anything else in there, my brain will just explode and I won't be able to do any of it. Okay, so Bryn Miller. Bryn Miller, you are next. You go ahead, Bryn Miller. I am going to take a drink of my sparkling water. Okay. If you'll work out. All right. I'm assuming that you're hoping it will. So what I'm going to do You're welcome, Lucard. All right, let's go over to the tarot table. Now, the cards won't tell you specifically whether anything is going to work out. They will tell you, they will give you ideas. They will sort of, inspire you perhaps to go, oh, maybe this is something to think about that'll help it to work out. And then you can kind of, that kind of thing gets your brain, like, you get creative. The tarot cards are a creative energy tool, and they resolve things really simply by giving us inspiration to resolve them on our own. They sort of reflect things that we already know, really. That's why when you get a tarot reading or you pull a tarot card, people often say, you know what? That actually reminds me of something. That fits something. Well, yes, that's what tarot does. It fits in, and it sort of causes new brain synapses to light up. Now, the question to ponder for inspiration is, will it work out? There's a sense of physical comfort. There's someone or an element in this scenario of being comfortable physically. Great strength, great power, great assuredness. Great skill at handling the physical, the material, touch. Money. There's an understanding, there's a calm, secure nature behind things physical that's informing this story. These coins are, our ability to take care of ourselves, but also what it feels like to touch, to connect, to care for someone, to feed them, to just to take care of them and ourselves. And there's this desire to be secure in that, to be stable. That's what this king is representing. Now, coming in and influencing that is this element of 7 of wands, the creative, the lust, the sensual, the drive behind creative forces. The 7 is the number of learning about oneself, finding out sort of undiscovered things and putting that knowledge to work, letting it making it useful somehow. It influences your efforts in the world or with other people. And this is leaning toward desire, but it's reversed, which means that someone is resisting the work to know more about what is driving them in this relationship. What is going on? How deeply connected, perhaps? How intense the desire might be? There's something about it, about that 7 and that ability to apply intuition. Perhaps what's happening is the more intuitive 7. The 7 is the number of sort of intuitive thought being used by a person. And it's in conflict perhaps with this stability and more rational element of the king, who tends to be a little bit more authoritative and mental. And this wand's fire element, this is fire, wants to apply itself but is being restricted. Perhaps because of this desire to be so stable, that this is being somehow dampened. And then where we're trying to go, we've got the wands again coming up, the king of wands. And what we're seeing is this restriction is leading to there's hesitation in expressing desire, true passion and wanting. This king right side up, mirrors. See, these are 2 mirrors, and one is the body and one is the desire. Now, this inability to discover more about desire is creating a doubt about one's ability to find a way of expressing this desire adequately. The king is able to express things very clearly and with absolute assurance. No nonsense, no crap. What he says is real, and you can darn well depend on it. You can stake your life on it. And if that's in doubt, if there's a misunderstanding about something over here in the realm of desire, if there's a lack of self-awareness, of knowledge about it, a sort of ignoring of what the truth of that is, then you don't have this assurance, this confident expression coming out. So these cards are saying that they are saying, look, this is something that has to be figured out. Great confidence physically doesn't mean one understands the drive, the passions, the real sort of sexuality of it. Let's say that the wands are that. They are the hormones of the tarot. And this energy has to be allowed to express itself and to take on a kind of almost spiritual sort of persona. It has to be able, it has a quality of, it has to be given its rightful due in the mind. which means self-discovery in that area, which leads to a confident, secure expression of this force, this passion. That's what this reading wants you to get to. So it means you're good physically. Don't worry about that. Think about the actual what's inside. Think about expressing things beautifully, and you will get to this serene, confident, full, clear expression of what's going on. Yes, Bryn Miller, that self-discovery, that 7 card. The 7 in tarot is actually a really difficult number to grasp because it's so. Some people say things like it is representative of benevolent action in the world. And that's because the benevolent action in the world comes from knowing yourself. It comes from self-discovery, and you sort of get to a higher plane of understanding of yourself, and it makes you more empathetic toward other people, and that allows you to go out into the world and do beneficial things. Or it doesn't have to be specific. It can just be the way you talk to people can sort of have a beneficial effect because you understand about yourself and your own drives and what if you know what hurts you, then you know what hurts other people. And so with the wands, you have to do that self-discovery. If we're talking about relationships, we often, relationships have a physical, they have that drive. You want to touch someone, and you kind of have to give that process its rightful due in your thinking, and you have to be clear about those feelings and able to express them in the best way possible. And that's what that reading is sort of hinting at. And I think it's saying, that approach generally tends to help make relationships actually work. Just as a general kind of I think a lot of people kind of, I think a lot of people would get that. They could come up with that on their own. Really, the tarot cards are just there to sort of remind us at little points where we kind of, we're all thinking about so many things that every once in a while you need a tarot card or something to go, oh wait, I haven't thought about that in a while. I might as well. That's right, I forgot. So, all right. So I think that's the last reading for the night. I have to close up shop momentarily. But I really like that. And I really like that Unity is getting some decks, because that is what it's all about, man. You get some decks and you just start playing around with them and you have fun, and sometimes you drop them, you put them away, you don't see them for a while, and then you're like, oh my God, I have these gorgeous decks on my shelf. I forgot, and look at these. I'm so glad I bought these. And then you do yourself a reading, or a friend comes over and you do a reading for them, and they're like, this is cool. I didn't know you knew this. So, Bryn Miller, you have a great night. And that goes for everyone. Have a great night. And I will head back in here. I think I'll do another one tomorrow. I usually do these things, I think around 8 is a good time. So yeah, that might be fun. Do another one tomorrow. All right, everybody have a really good night.